Hello everyone, welcome to my balcony garden. I have another houseplant video for you today. I was given this Monstera deliciosa, in case we forget the name. I was given this at work. They had this left over and they were going to chuck it out, and I was like, no, give it to me. I'm going to give it a new home. Look at the poor state of this plant. It is unbelievably pot bound. Roots coming out all over the place. We've got aerial roots there as well, so I'm going to be taking it out of this pot. Just having a look at the roots as well, look at the state of them, maybe cut some back if they're mouldy or rotten or anything, and then we're going to repot it because the plant itself is looking actually very healthy. Leaves are looking good, the roots are looking great as well. There's just too many of them for this pot, so let's get started. Alrighty. Oh my god, look at this. You poor thing, I feel sorry for you. Right, I'm going to have to put you over because you keep falling over. Right, let's get to it. I can feel the strength of these roots already. I can feel it through the pot. So I'm going to start by gently squeezing and moving around the pot because I'm just wanting to start to loosen the soil and loosen the roots a bit, pop them away from the side of the pot here, and then I want to slide it out. Now, I'm going to try and keep as many roots as possible. I'm assuming I'm going to lose some. Monsteras do put down roots very quickly, so it shouldn't be that bad, but you know, I'll do my best. So I've loosened it out. You can see that it's starting to come out of the pot now, and I'm just going to slide it out. So I've got the main stem here, and I'm just going to pull it out. Some people actually cut the roots off when they're taking a plant like this out of a pot. They just chop all the roots off anyway. You can also do that. I try and just hold on to them as much as possible. So let's see if it works. Maybe I will actually have to chuck them all out. Cut them, sorry. Come on! Come on! Whoa. Oh my god. Oh my days. Look at you. The roots are still going, okay? Look at this plant. Whoa, looks like spaghetti, doesn't it? And it's a Christmas miracle. I didn't break any roots. So let's have a look at them. They're looking good. I don't see any signs of pests and diseases either. I don't see any mold. Oh, looking good. Smells great. I just love that earthy smell. So for the eagle-eyed among you, you might notice there's been a slight change in the video. Basically, I'm filming now on a completely different day. My camera died, the battery died, and then I didn't have enough time to charge it and then continue with the video. So we're just going to carry on like nothing's happened. Because this plant is so pot bound, I'm going to try and take away as much soil as possible from underneath here from the root ball, and I want to separate the roots as much as possible as well. I want to encourage them to stop growing in this round and round, you know, around the pot as pot bound plants do, and I want to get it to start encouraging it to start growing outwards. So let's just get in there. I have my little tray here. Right, so I'm gonna do my best to, oh my god, it's so tight, wow. Yeah, basically do my best to keep as many roots as possible. Because Monstera deliciosa, they're such vigorous growers anyway, when it comes to putting down roots, it's not going to be the end of the world if we lose, even, you know, some people cut, when a plant is so pot bound, some people say to cut up to a third of the roots off. I just think, like, I don't know, let's try and shock the plants as little as possible. Having said that, I might end up eating my words there because geez Louise. Whoa, okay. It's really bad. Wow, okay. What about up here? Oh my god, it's like rock hard. It's rock solid with roots. Wow. Right. Leaving these aerial roots. It seems brutal. Do you know what? It is brutal. But I really want this plant to start growing outwards, the roots to grow outwards rather than inwards. So I am being quite tough. Fascinated by this plant. Okay, I don't want to do any more than that. We're going to take as much soil away as possible and leave some space. Okay. I'm going to trim the roots off here, even though they are healthy. Actually, one of them, so there's a few that are a bit moldy, so I'm going to chop that off here, and then that's just going to give the plant more space, like this. So I have my plant here, and I'm just going to trim back the roots. Like this. I've got my sterilized secateurs. There we go. Good, that's much more manageable. I am happy with that. So now it is time to repot our Monstera. So I have chosen this pot. I'm not exactly sure how big it is. I'll write it on the screen somewhere. And I've already filled it with a really good quality, multi-purpose houseplant compost. I've chosen this pot based on the size of the root ball. When you're repotting, you never want the new pot to be so large compared to the root ball that there's going to be a lot of empty space, basically space in the pot that's just filled with soil. Because when we're watering, the water will just sit there, and if the roots aren't there in that space to take up the water, the soil is going to become saturated. The pockets that should be free for air become filled with water, and then essentially the plant is at risk of suffocating or drowning, which is just, I mean, we don't want that. I do know that Monsteras, they are vigorous growers. It could be very likely that I'll be having to repot this plant sooner rather than later, but I just would rather, you know, do it slowly, take my time with it, make sure that the plant survives, because obviously I've hacked away all these roots. So as I mentioned before, I've filled the pot to about halfway, and I'm just going to place the root ball on the soil, top of the soil, to make sure that it's a good height. You want at least an inch difference between the top of the pot here and then the top of the root ball, because when we're watering, we don't want the water to be spilling over the whole time. So make sure that you leave a little gap between the two tops there. I'm going to place it basically more or less centrally in the pot. I am going to slightly place it towards the right, because if we see this main stem, I want to provide it with a bit of support. So it's going to get that from the top of the pot there. And I mean, there's enough space here for the roots to start to spread out. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to backfill. Ah. Oh dear. The mess. This is a great beginner plant, Monstera deliciosa. I know everyone has them. I know the plant market is saturated with them, but they're just such vigorous growers. They're so beautiful, they're so easy to care for. Great to propagate as well. I just propagated my other one. It had root rot, so I took a big chunk of it off, rooted the whole thing. I actually think I have it on Instagram, a video of it, and it's just thriving. I can see it there, and it's lovely. It's put out new leaves, and yeah, I'm very happy with that. And that's it. So here we have our repotted Monstera deliciosa, looking fabulous. Now it's time to give the pot a really good drink. Make sure that the compost is moist throughout, even to the point where there's water coming out of the bottom of the pot. I'm placing the Monstera in my plant corner, which is directly beside the balcony. I'm putting it here because this is a perfect spot for my plants. It receives a lot of bright but indirect sunlight. In terms of care going onwards, fertilizing, I mean, it's still January, so I'm probably going to be fertilizing once a month, just like I do with all my other houseplants, using a good quality liquid fertilizer for green houseplants. And then when the growing season comes, I will probably up that to maybe twice a month. It will need some time to get used to its new pot to recover and heal from the cuts I made when I was taking off the roots. But as I said, Monstera are very strong. It's going to be fine. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and you would like to support the channel, subscribe. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Happy New Year. I send you all my good wishes, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.